Most ambitious men don't have an execution problem. They have an alignment problem. You can be disciplined, you can execute and be successful climbing the mountain that is not yours and never was. That mountain, to the eyes of everybody else, even your own, is not a problem. But deep inside, you feel that emptiness and you take a step back and you realize that, am I climbing the right mountain? I know this because I've lived it myself. I'm from Quebec, Canada, but I've moved to Colombia in South America 9 years ago. My goal was to create a network of businesses, to then create passive income and retired at 38 years old. I was 33 back then. And guess what? I got there. I built 5 businesses. I hired the right people. The delegation was perfect to run the show without me having to do anything every day. Coach Alex is living abroad in another country, living his best life, not having to work, pretty young doing so. I was miserable. The part of me who won that game, who reached the top of that mountain, was my 1.0 self. The part of me that wanted to enjoy hedonism, the pleasure, right? The daiquiri on the beach. But I quickly realized that happiness was not on top of that mountain, that I was climbing the wrong mountain for 5 years, building all those businesses, the passive income, and tapping myself in the back. I got so depressed. I was on the verge of doing something crazy. But while touching rock bottom, I remember that the time of my life where I was the most aligned, obsessive with positivity about something, fully aligned, was when I was coaching basketball and football back in the days. So the motivation part, the learning, the growth, the strategy to compete, all those elements was full alignment to me. So what happened is I sold everything. I've lost 2 of those 5 because of COVID, but I did a 180 and I bet on my alignment. I bet on a new mountain, even if it was daunting back then. So got back into wellness, going back to the gym, dating properly instead of looking for the cheap dopamine of just small flirt and having sex and everything. That big shift was who I truly was, outside of the hedonism, outside of climbing a mountain that was not mine. I always loved businesses, but now I'm building my own business that is fully aligned with me, my values, and the perfect lifestyle for me moving forward. And the purposeful aspect of serving others, coaching others, mentoring others. This is the part that was totally missing in the past. And reaching or aiming at a dollar sign on top of that mountain is not part of the equation right now. I have a holistic view of that new mountain. Yes, financial freedom is part of it, but it's just a small percentage of the entire equation. And now my 3 pillars are drive, flow, and purpose. So first, drive. Instead of looking for motivation, right, on a daily basis, hopefully I'll be motivated tomorrow to tackle those bottlenecks, to eat those frogs, or to get in a flow state to be productive. Being driven, having that North Star, that bigger why, the clear direction that makes sense. Obviously, again, fully aligned with who you are, will create a drive. That identity shifts linked to being driven with the clarity of that North Star will make you unstoppable, will give you that extra energy that you might see other people walking in a room, or you meet new people. They have that special energy, that special smile, that charisma. I don't want to go too deep in those personal traits, but you understand where I'm coming from with a drive. The second pillar, flow. In most cases, what you see online, it's the monk mode, the grinding, the hustling. It's always with force instead of flow. I always like to use the analogy of a samurai. Samurai is patient. A samurai don't force things, knows when to add energy, add power, but can be in control. So finding a flow, and it's not only a flow state when it comes down to being productive, but it's something that makes you swim with the current instead of against the current. The third one is purpose. When you hear purpose, you have to understand that it's outside of your own little ego and needs and wants, and everything is related to others, serving others, guiding others, coaching others, mentoring others, leading others. Because whether you're an entrepreneur or a high achiever, you're a leader. Whether it's at work, with your business, or at home with your family, we are leaders as men. So, are you the right leader that leads with purpose, impact others, inspiring others? I really want you to think about a future where you use all your skill sets, the traumas from the past that are potentially scars now. So leading with your scars and understanding what other people are going through and helping your older self, helping who you were 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. This is something that will lead to fulfillment, happiness, bliss, and obviously purpose. What we're gonna do together is tweak your environment. Build an environment that creates flow, that leads you to get into a flow on a daily basis. Your habits, your routine, I like to call them rituals. All of those things will be intertwined. We're gonna build those slowly but surely because this is not a sprint. If we're looking for an identity shift, the goal here is 1% better every day. You've probably heard that before, but literally casting votes towards your 2.0 self every day. And you better believe that 2.0 self is living with purpose, with a strong drive, full of energy, and with a flow on a daily basis. We're navigating into seas that are so aligned, so clear, and that direction is impactful and inspire others. You feel alive. You feel you're living your best life every day. My work is built around 3 movements. First, we align, we find alignment. I have my North Star GPT, and I really want you guys to dig deep to figure out exactly what is true alignment to you. Second, we architect the mission. What is your mission? Meaning, what is that mountain that is yours? Not what society norms told you, the matrix, right? No, before that, we go back to the basics. So we architect the mission that is yours. The clarity of that path, of that journey is so clear that you're gonna embrace it every day and becoming 1% better or 1% closer to your 2.0 self. And the third one is we build a machine. So we build a system. Obviously, we use AI, we use technology to make sure that we stay on path, and we collect data. We understand our triggers, our behaviors, our patterns from the past daily so that we can make iteration, we can learn, we can fail forward, get those lessons from failing forward, and we grow. We grow every day because we know that if we don't grow every day, sadly, we're one day closer to death. We're meant to grow. And every time you think about happiness, right? We don't talk about bliss or purpose, just plain happiness. If you're not growing, if you don't get outside of your comfort zone, nothing's gonna happen. And true learnings are always outside of your comfort zone. So let's fail forward, learn, and move in the right direction. If you feel disconnected inside, successful on the outside, click down below, you'll have access to the alignment audit. It'll take you 5 minutes. And if you connect the dots with some new elements that might be golden nuggets moving forward, then join the community, the Purposepreneur Movement community. If you want to work with me, you'll have access to a discovery call so that we can meet up and see if we're the right fit for this next journey. I have an awesome 6-week sprint that brings those 3 pillars, and we find clarity, we build alignment, we find your mission, and then we create a process, a quest that is yours in 6 weeks. At the same time, we collect data. Every day we journal. There's some accountability. There's going to be challenges, but everything's going to happen outside of your comfort zone. If you're ready, join the movement, and I'll be excited to be in your corner for this next journey to find a clear purpose, a clear mountain to climb. Hopefully, let's meet soon. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.